All right, guys. So check out these cool long Langstroth hives. I've got them pretty much all put together, and I've been staining them with the 100% tung oil that you see over here in this rag. Um, the outside is stained, the inside is not. That's just per what the manufacturer recommended, and so that's what we're going with. I've got these 2x4s added on there for legs. Those are untreated. And I've got these guys that I'm working on today. This is the last of the stuff that we need to stain, and those are going to be the kind of the outside frame, or the inner frame, if you will, in between the legs to keep those steady, because once we get the frames in here, and the bees and the honey and everything else, it's going to be really, really heavy. So we want to make sure to support that as best we can. Now, I like this tung oil a whole lot, because it's not super strong smelling at all. I'm Mr. Sensitive guy with super smeller, and so really strong solvent-y smells and paint smells really bother me a whole lot. So, but with that being said, I still recommend you open the windows, crack the door, and just have some good ventilation, because it is pretty strong smell. Once you walk out of here, your clothes are going to smell like it, and so make sure you're wearing stuff that you don't mind to smell like tung oil for a couple weeks, because it takes a few washes to get the smell out. So, but it's pretty easy. I've never really stained anything before, so well, that's not true at all. Actually, I have stained things, but not with like tung oil. So I didn't know really what to expect and wasn't sure how to approach it. But all I did is got an old Tupperware container and threw some tung oil in there, and this rag is just pretty much saturated. So we'll add a little bit more in. And this 32-ounce bottle has covered 3 hives and the quilt boxes that are going to go in between of those and the roof, and then it's also coating these legs. I got 2 of these, and the reason why is because throughout the year you have to kind of go through and touch it up and keep treating it. This is like kind of the super crunchy way of weatherproofing your investment here with your beehive, and it's food safe. So I thought that was pretty cool, and we're going to try it out just for kicks and giggles. Now, with that being said, the roofs, I did paint with the exterior paint that we had left over from the building, but I looked it up, and the paint was below the VOC threshold recommended by, whatever bee organization. And so that made me feel pretty good. We can keep eating our granola bars and being crunchy and loving this. So, but you have to protect that stuff, and this is going to get the brunt of the weather. We get some crazy weather out here, so I wasn't trying to mess around with tung oil. And even the manufacturers who made these handmade these hives, these long Langstroth hives for us, they recommended too. They're out of Portland, Oregon, that we paint the tops and then use the tung oil on the bodies. So that's kind of our compromise there. So anyway, we've got our tung oil in container, and this thing is just saturated with it. And you can see the difference in the color between the untreated raw lumber that we have and the ones that I've hit already. So that's pretty cool. But this is kind of nice. It's almost like a little stress relieving exercise, because you just come out. Definitely wear some gloves, or else your hands are going to smell like tung oil, which smells kind of like fryer oil from a restaurant, but like really fresh, brand new fryer oil, not after it's burned like 100 pounds of fries and all that. So, or blooming onions. Oh man, those were the worst. I worked in a restaurant with those once, and that sucked when you had to be that guy making those all day. But anyway, I digress. Sounds like a chicken might be coming in here. No, we're good. All right. So, but just keep rubbing that tung oil in there. At first, I was pretty reserved. I didn't use a whole lot of it and on my first coat, but then I really just started sitting here and going over it and putting pressure on there, because you're forcing that oil into the wood itself. For lack of a better term, we really want to impregnate this 2x4 with the tung oil. So we're going to just sit and work it, and I'll take it and get a whole bunch And on these ends, just squeeze all that out so it's just soaking wet, and that's going to soak it up like a sponge. Now, this is the first coat for these 2x4s, and it needs to sit for about 8 hours. It's kind of late in the afternoon, so it's going to sit overnight and just soak all this oil up. Then tomorrow I'll come out, hit it with the second coat, and once that dries, we're going to get them on the frames, or turn them into frames on the legs, and get these suckers out of my shed and out into the yard. And hopefully in 2-3 weeks or so, we're going to have our nukes arriving, and I'm super stoked about that. But bees are one of those things, like, it's pretty intimidating to dive into. And I'm kind of doing it the hard way. Most people recommend that when you first get bees, you just get your basic Langstroth box hives, if you're mediums and medium supers and all that stuff, and try that out. But originally, we wanted to get flow hives, and that sounded really cool, but it was kind of a naive thing on our part. One day, I'd really like to get like 1 or 2 just for fun, if I get pretty good and comfortable with these long Langstroths, because you can kind of see what's going on. It's almost like a science project, and I love that kind of aspect of it. But I'm not going to rely on like my main honey production on those, and I'll have backups in case one of them breaks or something, or have like backup Langstroth box or something. I don't know. But anyway, it's going to be a while before we get into that, because it's kind of more of a novelty. It is expensive if you're trying to get more than one. And so these long hives were a nice happy medium for us, because one, I didn't have to build it, and two, the price, it was actually a lot cheaper than a flow hive. So, but it's putting these together, man. This stuff I just got at the store here locally. I had it on hand, and so I decided to make my own legs instead of, and save a couple bucks on each one of these hives. But the wood that these guys use from their bespoke bee supply company, and they're out of Oregon. But the stuff, that they use is awesome, and they have just awesome craftsmanship. And the owner of the company was emailing me, just making sure everything was good. And I'm really, really, really happy with this purchase from Bespoke. So check them out. You can see their website. But anyway, so this stuff, we'll just keep working on that, and that will give me something to do kind of for the rest of the afternoon. We got a thunderstorm rolling in, so, and I'm pretty worn out. It's been a long week, so I'm not doing much outside today. But if you guys are thinking about using tung oil for treating your beehives or for treating wood in general, that's it. I'm going to come back, like I said, here tomorrow. I'll put a second coat on. Some people will put a third or fourth coat on, but what I was reading and what the manufacturer of, or what Bespoke was saying, is that you really get diminishing returns past your second coat. So, but we will check on them and just keep track of them over the season. And if I need to go out there and just hit them with a light coat, just for upkeep, then we're good to go, because we got that second one of those things. So, but we're stoked. A couple weeks, we'll be having bees, and it's going to be crazy. But we'll make some more videos, and appreciate you guys checking them all out, sharing them, and asking us questions and leaving comments. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.